Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Division Z podcast. My name is Jason.
And I am K Cosmic.
Today, my friend, we do have a new zombies map to talk about, for once. I know it feels like It's been a long time since we've had a zombies map release, but today, we get to talk about Terra Maledicta. So, yeah, it's definitely better than Anfang. I know you were just telling me you haven't had the chance to play it.
I haven't had a chance, but I've seen it. I think it definitely looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing. Like, it's a lot more...
For sure.
Like, it feels like it should be sort of in zombies. Not saying that Anfang didn't feel like it, but I feel like this definitely has a better vibe to it as well. And from what I've seen, there is a lot more kind of content in that in there as well. One thing I've heard that isn't going over so well, I don't know what you think about this, is that new boss. Is it annoying?
Yeah, Zabala the Deceiver is very annoying.
How does she work?
So how she works is that she's invincible everywhere else except for her head. And she has the three masks, kind of like Syraxis does, because it's Syraxis' sister. So what you have to do is you have to shoot her in the head. That's the only place you can damage her. And one by one, each of her masks will break. Well, when a mask breaks, she has this invulnerable state for like 5 seconds. And it's really annoying. Then what she does for her attack is she goes underground and she pops back up out of the ground with these electric mines that shoot out, kind of like energy mine.
Can like eat.
No. Like she goes under the ground, and where you're standing, there are electric mines that shoot up out of the ground to hit you.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's pretty annoying. But she does it so frequently that a lot of people don't like it. And of course, she has that invincible state that I told you about when you shoot off one of the masks for like 5 seconds for no apparent reason. And then she also spawns in quite frequently. Sometimes I feel like I'm fighting more Zabalas than I am Sturmkriegers when I play Terra Maledicta. And also, I haven't played Anfang since the new map came out, but apparently she's also in Anfang. So that's not great. That's really not great in my opinion. But
so you can't even go back to like one of the older maps and just not deal with her. That's
correct.
Annoying. In a way, it's kind of like the Margwa, isn't it, with the free heads, I'm guessing. But it's a lot more annoying in a way, because with the Margwa, there was that stage where you couldn't shoot a head if you once you like had a little flinch thing he does.
Right.
But it didn't feel that long. This feels like maybe it's just annoying for the sake of being annoying.
Exactly, because all the Margwa does was exactly that. It just staggers a little bit, and then back to going, right? And the Margwa doesn't go underground when you try to shoot it either.
With him, he only has a melee attack. That's all he can do.
Melee attack. Until we get over to Revelations, then you have certain Margwas with ranged attacks, but at least those ranged attacks aren't as annoying as the ball is. No,
they're pretty predictable. You can kind of know where they're kind of going, and even when they did get you, it wasn't like, oh my god, I'm red screening, because from what I remember, at least they weren't that bad.
They're still like pretty bad, but it's definitely
were they?
Oh, it still took a chunk of your health, but it definitely wasn't like. Yeah, your red screen. If you had gotten hit by a zombie and then hit by a Margwa attack, then that's good luck. But with Zabala, she just decimates your health. Like if you don't manage to get out of the way of those energy mines, like more than half your health is gone. Like it's a really, really powerful attack. But anyways, that's Zabala the Deceiver. Terra Maledicta is the first Vanguard Zombies map with an Easter egg as well.
And how's that going over?
Might I say, is such a quick Easter egg that it doesn't even feel like an Easter egg sometimes. Like, here's the thing. I understand that this game, and when it comes to Easter eggs, is mainly going to be focusing on just establishing lore, establishing
and story,
story and things like that, right? But really at the cost of some really interesting gameplay, because 2/3 of the Easter egg is getting the Wonder Weapon. So you get the Decimator. You get the Decimator shield, and you have to go back into the Dark Aether, use the Decimator shield's red explosion blast to unlock the pages of the Tome of Rituals, and then you pick up another page and you're done. So it's like,
not really like a Easter egg per se.
Like,
I know they're going to
yeah,
class it as that, and I know you have
yeah,
to do certain things that might not be super obvious, but
yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know. I don't know because I've seen a bunch of tutorials and they're only like 10 minutes long, 6 minutes
oh,
long, just
dude,
showing
you could
like
easily you could easily make an Easter egg tutorial under 5 minutes easily.
yeah,
Because I
because most of it
mean,
is just like the map playing. Because you have to get to round 5 first, don't you? If I remember correctly, so like a
yeah.
round limit you have
So
to get to. Yeah.
essentially, well, it's not that you have to get to round 5. It's mainly that that's the round that you'll end up on when you get the wonder weapon because of how the
Okay. Yeah.
steps work and because of the objectives and things like that. That's just where you will end up being. And then
Yeah.
you go into the void, and then you can decide what round you end that on there because it's void. But yeah, I mean, yes, it's an Easter egg. Does it feel like an Easter egg sometimes? Not really, but at the same time, when you listen to the Dark Aether entities talk, and you kind of get that feeling of, whoa, okay, yeah, now the story's kind of picking up. Whoa, what are we doing here? Like, it's weird. It's a really weird feeling. So I think I am gonna classify this as an Easter egg, even
Okay.
though it really doesn't feel like it sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't feel like an Easter egg because I think we've been so accustomed to boss fights and we've been so accustomed to like these puzzles in zombies now that there really aren't any puzzles in this Easter egg. There aren't any boss fights. If you count Zabala has this little monologue where she's like, "Oh, nobody crosses Lord Cortifax," and she's all evil and whatever. Like, okay, I guess maybe that's like your pseudo boss fight, but then she keeps showing up multiple times. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but hey,
I
at
think,
least it has an Easter egg, unlike Durand
yeah,
Fong.
exactly. I think even though it might not be the greatest, at least it has it there. Like if this map launched with Vanguard instead of Durand Fong, do you think how do you think things would have went over? Do you think they would have went over a little bit better just because it seems to have that content there that we didn't have? Like the missing things, like a wonder weapon, a pack punch camo, some sort of an Easter egg. Do you think that?
Yeah, I think people would have been more willing to give Vanguard a chance. More people would have warmed up to Vanguard zombies if Terra Maledicta was the first map to launch. But I still think we would still find ourselves in a similar position where people would be like, "Oh wow, this isn't the greatest." You know, I still think we would find ourselves there, but it would be prolonged by like a week. It'll be prolonged by like a day because there's actual content to actually delve into in Terra Maledicta, including a side Easter egg that people haven't been able to solve yet. And I've been trying my hardest to solve this one.
That's actually, I've seen a little bit of this here and there, and that's actually so refreshing to have an Easter egg, like a side thing, which is actually hard to solve.
Yeah.
So what's the furthest people have gotten with it?
So first of all, I'd like to say it's funny that a side Easter egg is harder than the actual Easter egg. Second of all, basically what happens, and I know because the thing is people are giving their theories about this side Easter egg, not necessarily like this is how you do it, right? So like all the videos you'll see out there will be like, oh yeah, the corrupted heart side Easter egg, Terra Maledicta. It's their theory of what's going on because no one actually knows where this really ends up because there are things yet to be discovered.
Yeah.
So essentially what happens is you have to get the shovel and you dig up a dig site and eventually you'll get a heart. And when you get the heart, you'll notice that there's rune circles on the map that you can bury the heart in. And what that'll allow you to do is basically save the heart there for later so you can go back and pick it up. However, what I've noticed and what many people have noticed is that when you plant that heart, it'll spawn in invisible dig sites where you can dig up more hearts, and you can hold 4 hearts at a time per player. So if you're on solo, there's 4 hearts. If you're on 2-player, there's 8 hearts, and things like that.
To 16, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So once one player picks up all 4 of the hearts, there's this like red energy that continues to like surround them, and your feet are on fire, and it just follows you around. All the while, your health is halved. So that's as far as people have gotten with it. Now, the one thing that I did the one thing that I did find that was very interesting about it is that when you bury the first heart for the first time, you get a free sacrificial heart that you can use at the Altar of Covenants or the Tome of Rituals. So that's kind of interesting. So a lot of people are just theorizing that, oh, digging up the heart just is supposed to give you an extra heart that you can use, right? Which I can understand that. However, what's the whole point if you can plant that one, dig up more hearts, and when you collect all of the hearts, you have this red energy that surrounds you, you know? So I think there's definitely more than meets the eye for this side Easter egg, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Hopefully I can figure it out, because it's kind of driving me crazy, actually, because all the other side Easter eggs are pretty simple.
Yeah. And that's good as well. It seems like there's a decent few side Easter eggs you can do in this as well.
A couple.
Isn't there? Yeah, so that seems to be quite good that they're actually putting in little things here and there. Because that's what really, like, I think makes a zombie map stand out in a way well, if you get what I mean. Like, you know, like fun little side things you can do. Like, for example, with Zetsubo, the jump scare Easter egg you can do.
Right.
Like, that is so kind of, that doesn't really matter, right? It's not really important, but people remember it, and they remember that map for, like, that sort of reason.
Or,
so,
you know, speaking of Zetsubo again, spider bait.
Spider-Bait, exactly, yeah. Well, except that's actually quite good. I've never done it, but
True.
I've heard it's quite good. So
it is pretty good.
Yeah. But no, I'm glad that actually it seems like they're actually putting effort into the game now. With yeah. Well, here's the thing: it's not like they're not putting effort in.
Right.
It's just time and budgeting and that. And you know, I think they're trying their hardest what they have, and I'm pretty sure what they've released will probably be really good for what resources they have at hand. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think they're putting in more time into this, whereas before with their Anfang, they kind of had to scramble to get that situated and released. So, yeah, I definitely think they were able to spend more time to actually think through Terra Maledicta. You know, say what you want about the objective-based gameplay, you know.
Yeah.
The map layout for the objectives plays better than Der Anfang, in my opinion, which makes it a little more enjoyable. I still prefer normal round-based. I still even prefer just Outbreak, you know? But at least it's more enjoyable than Der Anfang, is I think the main thing that I think everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but I think a lot of people in the community would probably agree with me and say that, yeah, Terra Maledicta is definitely better than Der Anfang, but we would still rather have round-based. Like, actual round-based.
I think it's easy to improve on content that isn't that great to begin with. So maybe that's like a way to kind of look at it. Because Anfang, you know, for what it is, it's absolutely fine. You know, I know that a lot of people don't like it, and even myself, I don't really like it, and I know that you're not the biggest fan on it either. But at least they're improving on it. Now, my question is in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, will it be around still, or do you think that'll be it done? Like, in terms of, like, people talking about it. And
yeah. Honestly, man, I think just with the way Vanguard Zombies is going, I think people are going to stop talking about it within the next day or so. I mean, it's just, you know, that's just where we are right now with Call of Duty Zombies. People don't like Vanguard. People don't like Vanguard Zombies, and nobody wants to play it, and no one wants to talk about it. I mean, except for us. We're talking about it because that's literally what we do here.
Yeah.
But I just... It's sad. It's really sad because I think Terra Maledicta is a step in the right direction, but it definitely needs a little bit more work. Like, I don't know if you guys at home have experienced this, but I'm experiencing more crashing on Terra Maledicta than I did on Der Anfang. Like, I'm getting kicked out of more games on this map than I am previously. So... I don't know.
Noticing a few issues here
what
and there
they did with I don't know.
Yeah.
Some weird error message called Dover Beagle.
Dover Beagle.
Like, what is that supposed to tell me?
Thank you for explaining it to me.
Yeah, right?
Thank you so much.
It's like, it'll say like, oh yeah, network disconnected. Reason, Dover Beagle. It's like, what?
What
does that mean? I have pretty damn good internet. Don't give me any of this crap. Give me what's going on here. Hello? What's going on?
Definitely an issue on their end. And I think the next step for Vanguard Zombies, instead of releasing content, is like not fix, but add in the things that should have been there at launch.
Yeah.
A pause button.
Dude. We still can't pause the game.
Yeah, and that's one of them things that'll hold the game back for time going on. And I'm thinking at this point, I wonder if in their offices they're like, oh, is it even worth putting a pause button in now? Do we do it?
Like, it is, though.
Obviously, it's worth it, right? But, like, if they're going to reveal the next COD game, which is Modern Warfare 2, which is confirmed and all that now, all that good stuff, they're talking about revealing it early, right? And trying to get the hype for that game because Vanguard isn't doing as well for whatever reason. Even though I
Right.
think the multiplayer in Vanguard itself is good, I think the campaign's like all right. And for zombies, obviously zombies are zombies. But I think they really just want to push to Modern Warfare 2, and then whatever the next game is after that will come, obviously. But
Yeah, I definitely think it would be in their best interest to try to try to get Modern Warfare 2 off the ground, but especially how not a lot of people in the Call of Duty community really like Vanguard. I mean, no one. It's kind of sad too because Vanguard multiplayer can be fun sometimes.
oh yeah, absolutely.
But
I
then you
think
just have
it's
the constant latency and packet bursts, and I'm
yeah,
actually having fun with the ranked play. That also came out
yeah.
this week, where
How you
ranked
finding that?
play. I'm finding it pretty fun, man. I definitely want to get more into that side of things for sure, and try to see how I do. And
Mm.
I don't know, see what comes of it, right? It's just it's just another avenue of Call of Duty I can make content with. It's another avenue of Call of Duty that I can just have fun with, and
Yeah.
I am having some fun with ranked play, but even ranked play has its problems, and it's just everything's a mess in Vanguard. I know things weren't I know things weren't perfect in Cold War either, but at least Cold War was more stable, and Cold War definitely had its share of problems, but Vanguard is just a whole other beast when it comes to its problems.
Well, I don't know if it's just like lack of me playing a lot of the multiplayer, or I don't know, me just forgetting over time or nostalgia. But Cold War, what issues did it actually have? I don't think it had too many like game breaking.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it didn't have too many. It didn't have too many issues. Unlike Vanguard, where it's literally game breaking. You get kicked for no reason. You have packet bursts. You just like ghost bullets, right?
Mhm.
Like it's just weird. It's just really, really weird. It just shows that it was rushed. It just shows that the whole thing was rushed and it just didn't come together as well as
I
it
think
should have.
it's the opposite of what happened with Cold War, where I feel like for multiplayer, and I guess you could say zombies, even though I enjoyed zombies for when it came out. But with Vanguard, the content's there, and for multiplayer at least, the content is there.
Yeah.
But it's just all these other little issues that just collide into one big like, this is annoying. This is not fun. This is not great.
And then and then you pair that with the game design of the game too, with weapon leveling. Getting up to level 70 is too excessive. Weapon XP isn't as good as it should be. Although we are having a double XP weekend when we're recording this, and at least the double weapon XP actually seems to actually be XP before, because in other instances of double weapon XP, people have actually determined that it wasn't. So at least it actually feels like it this time around.
Because that's another issue Vanguard's definitely had, is that with leveling up stuff, it's taken extra long, and it feels kind of like it maybe busted a little.
Oh, it does. 100% it does.
Yeah.
Especially for zombies, dude. The zombies weapon leveling is so dumb. It's so dumb. Like the first 2 or 3 rounds is where you're going to earn the most. And then as you continue to play the game, you earn less. I will never understand. Like I know Cold War had something similar to that, and other games had something, whatever, right? I will never understand why that's a thing. Like, shouldn't it be the more you play the game, the more XP you earn? That's awesome, and it encourages you to play the game more.
Yeah, it should be the higher you go, the more the multiplier increases. Because I feel like something we're calling in general now is there's a lack of reward and lack of things to bring people back to the game, especially for zombies when you're constantly getting, thinking over in terms of grinding like actual content out. But no, I feel like a Vanguard, it's the premise of a good game. It's the base of something that could be really good, but it's just not going to reach that before Modern Warfare 2 comes out. And with all the Microsoft stuff happening as well, I think they've kind of cut their losses and are like, okay, we'll finish this game and then that'll be that. And
I agree.
We won't do World War 2 again for a while.
Yeah, no, that's for
the
sure.
thing. I don't think they'll do World War 2 for maybe like the next 10 years after this. Because,
I would agree.
Obviously, from World at War all the way up to Infinite Warfare, we didn't have a World War 2 game.
Right.
We didn't have anything like that at all. In the past like 5 years, we've had 2, which, World War 2 is a fun game. It was pretty good from the multiplayer campaign.
Yeah, it
and
was
zombies.
all right.
Whatever you think of zombies, I know it's not the most fan favorite, but at the core, it was, it's definitely better than Vanguard zombies. And then Vanguard's obviously Vanguard, but I don't think we'll get another World War II game for a while. So
yeah, definitely not, especially with after all of this, and especially when Microsoft takes the helm. And all these people with the rumors circulating that, oh yeah, when Microsoft takes hold, they're gonna ditch the yearly cycle and they're gonna continually update a game for a couple of years, right? If
Which
that's the
makes
case, then
sense.
that'd be great. And if Treyarch's next game is, I believe that's gonna be the first game that's supposed to be with the whole acquisition.
Yeah.
So if that's the game that continually gets updated, man, I think Zombies fans can eat really well for the next Treyarch game, because now we're gonna have the sequel to Cold War, which I'm super excited to see where the Dark Aether story goes, and we can have maybe more content, more thought out things, and hey, maybe Sledgehammer can be a support studio for Treyarch. Instead of it being the other way around, where Sledgehammer is supposed to be the main studio, but it just doesn't feel like they're the main studio, because Treyarch is like responsible for half of this game already. Zombies, ranked play, and like there's just other little things they're helping them out with. I know Sledgehammer is responsible for the multiplayer and the campaign, but still, then you have the other half of the game that's responsible. The Treyarch's responsible for.
I'm pretty sure Infinity Ward are responsible for something for the game as well.
Are they?
Give me a second. I'll have a look. All developers.
I mean, in one way or another, though, dude, every developer is going to work on every game. It's just, little. Whereas before in the past, it was just like support, right? It was just, oh, yeah, let me help you model a gun or something, right? I don't know, just tiny little support things. But this time around, it's fully fledged. Like, Treyarch is responsible for zombies. Treyarch is responsible for ranked play. And you go, holy crap, wow.
Let's have a look here. Okay,
because Treyarch helped Infinity Ward with Infinite Warfare and things like that. But yeah, this is just more of a hands-on approach for Treyarch, because Activision's like, hey, clean it up.
And then Treyarch also helped Sledgehammer World War II Zombies with a lot of the animations. Like,
oh really?
What's that?
I didn't know
that. You know the guy with the flamethrower in the final Reich?
Yes.
He has the exact same animations as the animations as the Panzer.
Really? So, I didn't know that.
He does like that little like lunge thing when he lands.
Oh,
so that's the same. But let's have a look here.
I haven't played World War II Zombies in a long time, so I did not know that.
We will hop on and I will show you, my friend. I will show you.
It's literally been like, it's 2022. It's probably been since like 2017 or 2018 since the last time I legitimately played World War II. It's been a long freaking time.
I probably haven't played it since. I would probably say a solid year of playing it properly, because I just haven't gone back to it for any reason.
Well, it'll feel like a completely new game to both of us if we decide to go back and replay.
Absolutely, we can do that. We will do that.
I remember Final Reich not being terrible, but I hated the armor system.
Yeah, so the armor system wasn't great. In future maps, they made it so that certain weapons could give you armor, which was quite good.
That's good.
So, and I'm pretty sure some of the perks, you have like the perk system that's outside of the game, where you can put things on like Mule Kick and other stuff. There's ones that are really beneficial to getting armor and made it a lot easier, if I remember correctly.
Okay, that's good.
For like each round, you got a piece of armor or something, if I remember correctly, with certain things. But
that's good.
And some of the later maps, that very good. I think the armor system, it was an attempt at something different, and it could have just easily been replaced with Jug.
Yeah,
like, because why? There's no reason to fix something that isn't broken. Because it's not. There's no reason at all.
I mean, if you are gonna fix it, you gotta make it beneficial. And the armor system I just didn't like it. That's what really turned me off from World War II Zombies. Because once I did both the casual Easter egg and the hardcore Easter egg for Final Reich, I was like, all right, that's it. I don't know. I just didn't really feel like playing the game. I just didn't feel like doing the DLCs and like, I don't know. I just didn't really sit right with me.
Back to Black Ops 3.
yeah, dude, back to Black Ops 3. Because at the time, I didn't own Infinite Warfare. So, there's that too. Now, looking back, if I had purchased Infinite Warfare and given Infinite Warfare Zombies a chance back then, I probably would have been like, okay, back to Infinite Warfare Zombies.
And play that, because there's a lot to grind in that game. There's like a lot you can kind of do in that as well. I definitely have a better appreciation for that game now, since I've gone back and played the maps I haven't played yet. So definitely want to do some more of that sometime soon. Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to Infinite Warfare and actually give it like a solid try.
100%.
No, I think of Modern Warfare Zombies is definitely like the fun, casual kind of game. If you get what I mean. Again, with past zombie games, as much as I enjoy them, it's really you're only really going back for the enjoyment factor because obviously you're not going to start grinding stuff in like the older games unless you I don't know you want to go for Dark Aether or not Dark Aether, yeah, Dark Matter in Black Ops 4 or Dark Aether in Cold War. Which, speaking of, there is a weapon in Cold War now you can get. You have to do it for Modern Warfare. But
Yes,
that's there.
that
So
is a
new
very
content coming.
interesting,
Yeah.
very interesting topic of discussion here, man. Cold War Year 2
Which is very
will
good.
probably happen. Will probably
Yeah.
happen. We have the Vargo 52 AR unlockable in Modern Warfare for Black Ops Cold War. That's really weird.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know how they did that. And then I don't know if you noticed on Black Ops Cold War, they added Holiday Onslaught back to the game.
Oh, did they?
Like the most random game mode they could ever have added back to Black Ops Cold War, they did. Holiday Onslaught is back in the game.
We need to play that.
Dude, I made a video about it the other day, and it was so strange. I was like, what? Like, it's February. Like, what are you doing?
Like the
does this confirm? Yeah, the winter version with the snowmen and the presents and the naughty and nice. Like, yeah, yeah.
That's odd. But
it's weird.
I mean,
it's weird, but it's fun because it's on the Onslaught maps, and I like Onslaught.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's to me, I don't know. I said this in the video. I think this is Treyarch kind of saying, hey guys, don't go anywhere. We're still going to update this game. Them kind of acknowledging it in like their own secret way because that's them re-adding content. And in a way, for Cold War Year 2, you could technically make the argument that it's them re-adding content because it's all stuff that allegedly, you know, I'm not a hacker, I'm not a coder or anything like that. But allegedly, this stuff was ready to go before. Now they just have to release it. So it could be the case where it's like this was their plan to drop it, and now it's going to be a plan to, or a re-plan to re-drop it at a different date because they're supposed to be getting other maps like WMD and Jungle and Ravenov as an operator. Like, I'm sure everybody's seen the news by now. I'm sure everybody is familiar with it. So with all the leaks and rumors, we don't normally like to cover things like that in case it's not true. But I'm pretty damn sure everybody in the community has seen it by this point. That I think everybody knows about it. So in this instance, it's like, all right, whatever. Because it's in the game files, right? And I know you're not technically supposed to access it right now, but people are. I'm holding off on it. Until it actually comes out. But that's, you know, you make your own decisions. Unlock the Vargo at your own discernment.
I mean, with new maps coming to Cold War, I mean, that's just a win. There's no losing there. With the state with Vanguard and that, and like having Cold War, which again isn't my favorite Treyarch game. I don't think it's nearly as good as like Black Ops 2 or even like Black Ops 4 from what you play, if I'm being honest. But having it there, a very similar style game, and having maps that like, you know, are fan favorites. I think Jungle will be a very fun map to play in Cold War. That map feels like it would just feel right in Cold War.
Dude, Jungle, WMD, those would they would feel right at home with Black Ops Cold War because of the whole Cold War feel and all that. And you know, also you think about it this way. When you get multiplayer content for Black Ops Cold War, you also get zombies content because of Onslaught. So we also get to play zombies on Jungle. We get to play zombies on WMD, that's what it would mean. Now I know there are a couple multiplayer maps that don't have Onslaught, like Hijacked, America with a K.
Yeah.
I know those don't have Onslaught
because of the design of the maps, maybe, or something. I don't know.
I think the only reason why we don't have America Onslaught is because America is literally Forsaken as a multiplayer map. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no point in them like adding it again to Onslaught.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you could also say, why did they also add Collateral to Onslaught and Outbreak? Because you can play both. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want, I don't know. But Hijacked, I don't know. I feel like Hijacked could be a fun little challenge map because of how close quarters Hijacked is. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see that in the future. Because if they're going to continually tease Cold War Year 2 content like this, and kind of, you know, nudge us a little bit with Holiday Onslaught and be like, hey, you know, what's going on?
We have
here?
stuff coming.
Then I don't know. That's my theory, at least. And honestly, I think what they should do is they should say, you know what? Screw it. Let's just release all the other Onslaught modes that were LTMs back to the game as permanent game modes. There's your year 2 cycle. There's your year 2 DLC cycle where you get reintroduced to other Zombies game modes that were previously LTMs. And then they stay in the game permanently. I think that would be such a great business strategy.
It makes sense. And since it's not like the main game anymore either, it's like there's nothing holding players back from like obviously with Fortnite, they add in game modes and take them away, then re-add in the game mode to bring them players back. But with Cold War, the game they're working on the next game already. The next game's
it's the game previous,
Yeah, exactly. So they might as well just release them all.
Right?
And let players have fun with it, because that's the main zombie game people are going to be playing. That and Black Ops 3 are probably, if I could see the numbers, I'd absolutely love to. But I'd imagine Cold War and Black Ops 3 are the main games right now people are playing for zombies.
I would agree.
100%. And maybe a little bit of Black Ops 4, because I know people are going back to that game now.
Yeah, which it's really interesting, man, because all these side game modes for Onslaught were really good. Like Mystery Munitions, you remember that one? Where every round you get a new weapon. It's gun game for zombies. It's so cool.
That was fun.
It's so cool.
I remember the Halloween one was good. If you remember that one. That was
for Outbreak.
No, what was the? No, what am I thinking of? It was the one where zombies had the pumpkin heads on.
Yeah, Halloween Outbreak. Hallows Eve Outbreak.
There was an Onslaught one for, wasn't there?
Well, the pumpkin heads were everywhere on zombies, but I know Outbreak had its own dedicated mode where it was you survive one region, one difficulty level, just a shitload of zombies coming at you. You have to survive for like 10 or so minutes, and that was fun. But yeah, across all the game modes, it was pumpkin heads that dropped jack-o'-lanterns, that you can get chalices, you can get weapons, wonder weapons, things like that. But yeah, the Halloween event would be another great thing to just re-add to the game for a week. Doesn't even have to be like pumpkin heads or anything. It doesn't even have to be Halloween themed. It could just be, normal themed, where the zombies drop care packages instead of the pumpkin heads. Yeah. And then Hallows Eve Outbreak could be renamed to Extreme Outbreak or something like that. But it's like still the same concept, still the same game mode kind of a thing. I don't know, man. There's so many LTMs they could definitely re-add to the game that I think they should for a Cold War Year 2 for a DLC cycle, because that would get more players to come back, especially the Xbox and PC players who couldn't experience the Onslaught LTMs because
that's true
of the console exclusivity. So it would really be in their best interest to introduce all of the game modes to everybody, to all of the player base, if they want to really go in on Cold War Year 2. And I think a lot of people would really get behind Cold War Year 2 because look where we are. So that's my take on it. They need to, I think if they want to bring people back to zombies, they want to bring people back to, kind of liking this game series again, because people's morale is at an all-time low with Vanguard right now. I think you just continue to update Cold War until Modern Warfare 2. Not to say give up on Vanguard. Don't give up on Vanguard. Don't give up on Vanguard at all, because it can improve. As we see with Terra Maledicta, it's an improvement over Anfang. Don't give up. However, Cold War Year 2 would be great. Now, on the flip side of the coin, I know I'm rambling and talking a lot here. On the flip side of the coin, I know Treyarch is overworked, and I know their working conditions aren't very good. So whatever they need to do to get out the best content that they possibly believe they can get out, then do it. Yeah, a message to the developers, if you guys are watching, it'd be great for you guys to add Cold War Year 2. I think everybody in the community would get behind that. A lot of people are starting to warm up to Cold War now, more so than they were when the game came out, because that's the Call of Duty cycle, right? But me personally, I've always loved Cold War, and I think you guys will really benefit from a Cold War Year 2 if you have the time. If you have the time. I understand if you don't, because you got to work on Vanguard and you got to clean that up. I get it. But you know what? That's just my take.
A pretty good take. Very good. A pretty goddamn good take. But no, I think Cold War Year 2 would an absolute win. Definitely more people are going back to Cold War and really appreciating it for what it was. I know during the life cycle we enjoyed the game to the fullest that we could. And we tried to be positive throughout. I know I had that little weird thing with Mauer Totem where I just didn't vibe with the map whatsoever. I didn't really play it. But when Forsaken came out, obviously I went back and I enjoyed that map for what it was, and that has a really good boss fight. So I could definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, Forsaken's great.
Yeah, I think the next thing is like the next big thing for zombies has to be the next trailer game. And it's sad that it's a few years away, but it gives us time to appreciate some of the older stuff. And in a way as well, even though I like Cold War and reporting on the news and that was coming out, I also found that, like, how did I put it? It was a little bit of news would come out here and there, and I'd have to, like, oh shit, I need to make a video about this. And the videos would do really well in that, obviously. But right now, obviously, there's not much going on. Even with Vanguard stuff, if they were to tease stuff, it's still not doing that well. It's doing okay, but it's not doing like
as well because no one's really interested. No one's really interested in Vanguard like they were in Cold War. That's why you see a lot of people who did really well in Cold War. They're not doing as well as they were in Vanguard because no one's really interested in this game. I mean,
it's not down to the content creator.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying it's not down to like the content creator kind of falling off. It's definitely down to the actual game mode itself not being in such a good state.
I 100% agree. I definitely agree. I mean, I'm still going to make news videos about Call of Duty because I just like doing that. But I definitely recognize at the same time, this isn't going to get as many views as a Cold War video would. Now, funny enough, on the other end of things, before Vanguard came out, Vanguard news videos did really well.
They did
before Vanguard came out. Exactly.
The thing is with Vanguard is the marketing and all the stuff that was happening. People were super hyped.
Yeah, it was good marketing.
The trailer was really good, and it showed a lot of cool stuff. But it's as soon as the game launched, and people actually experienced what the game mode was, and there's only 3 objectives, and that's it. That's when it started to like just nah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You hit the nail on the head right there. It's one of those things where because everyone was so hyped for it, I think our expectations were skyrocketed because we also, I think, expected the super insane gameplay that the trailer seemed like it promised, right? But so in a lot of people's eyes, there's just no insane gameplay, and
it's pretty mid.
Yeah, it can be mid a lot of the times, but at least Terra Maledicta is an improvement. I like some of the side Easter eggs, like the free death machine. Like that's kind of clever. And also with the free death machine, you could also get a free ray gun with that by chance. It's kind of a random thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. But at least we do have Treyarch's next game to look forward to, of course, and. The continuation of the Dark Aether storyline is going to be very, very interesting to see, I think. Very, very interesting to see. Now, not to say that the rest of Vanguard's story isn't going to be interesting. I think it's going to get really interesting from here, as a matter of fact, because we just got another Dark Aether entity to come to our side against Cortifex. And basically, to recap what happens in Terra Maledicta for you, you get a secret page from the Tome of Rituals that's supposed to tell you how to separate Von List from Cortifex because you got the human bond there. So, okay, that was the whole point of us going to Terra Maledicta. We need to find the page in the book that tells us how to do that. However, the Dark Aether entities noticed, well, wait a minute. If Von List and Cortifex had this page that tells you how to do this spell to separate demons from humans, why didn't he use that on us? Why didn't they do that? It's almost as if it was just kind of there for us to take. Like, so
I wonder if it's a trap, is it?
Yeah, there's this interesting dynamic. But then you notice at the same time, Gabriel Kraft goes, oh, no matter. I'll review the page. And I'll see what happens, right? And that's kind of like,
a red flag.
Why are you really locked behind that room, Gabriel Kraft? Why are you like... I don't know. Gabriel Kraft might be a little bit suspicious here because I feel like it's mainly the Dark Aether entities that hate Cortifex and Von List. Yeah. Now, I know Kraft's family and all that, and Kraft has a reason to hate Von List, But is it a ruse? Is it a ruse?
That's
I don't know. It's kind of this interesting thing right now, which I wish there were cutscenes for instead of in the game listening to it and going like, wait a minute, whoa, I missed that. That's interesting. I'd like sit down and listen and like not kill any zombies and go, oh yeah, oh okay. I wish there were cutscenes for that, like there were in Cold War, man.
Like even if it was like you picked up intel, then you could hear it, listen to it even outside
the game too.
Yeah.
Intel system was underrated in Cold War for sure.
Absolutely. That's cool, folks. So they're setting up some sort of like something's happening. Like I think they let them take it on purpose.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. For whatever reason. Maybe it's only like a Dark Aether entity that can like do the spell or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a backlash or something, and that's why they didn't do it to them.
Yeah.
I mean, the possibilities, we'll have to wait and find out, but it's good to see that like they're adding interesting little things like that into the game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think with the Tome of the Rituals and kind of collecting pages of that book to learn more about the world, and that's kind of where the Easter eggs are revolving around. They're revolving around the Tome of Rituals. It's going to be very interesting to see what we uncover and what we learn more from the book and what we, it's kind of like the Dark Aether's version of the Chronorium in a way if you think about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, what's actually kind of interesting is before you do the final step of the Easter egg, the entities mention, well, we got to go back to the frozen city again. Why is that? Well, that's kind of an interesting quote for you to say. Well, what's the frozen city? They're Anfang. So is this Treyarch's way of saying, wait a minute, we screwed up. We should have had an Easter egg on launch for Der Anfang. Let's do Terra Maledicta and give them a kind of a, not hand-wavy explanation, but kind of like a filler explanation. As to be like, okay, now we got to go back, and now the Easter egg is added, guys. And it's like Der Anfang becomes a sequel to Terra Maledicta. It's like a prequel sequel because you start in Der Anfang, you go to Terra Maledicta, and then you go back to Der Anfang. I feel like they're trying to establish that. What do you think about that?
I think that could possibly be what's going to happen, because I mean that's quite cool if you have like, in a way, it sounds like a super Easter egg.
Right.
But not really, because there's one thing that happens in one map, then you have to go together and do something in that map, then you have to go back to a certain map for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I think one thing they could do is if you complete the map, and if you've completed that map already and you go back to Der Anfang, then the map's slightly different. Like there's like updated version of the map where like some of the structures are different, and maybe there's a little bit more like, damage in that around the map as well.
Yeah.
But I do like that. I think that's quite cool that they're incorporating old content and trying to like use that to give us something. So maybe I'm guessing we'll still get an Easter egg on Der Anfang, and
I think we have to now.
That's a good thing. Yeah,
I think we absolutely have to now, because you still have the tome pages that are stuck in Shinonuma, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a way to bring the Decimator to Der Anfang, if Der Anfang has a Decimator quest, then that would be interesting. Or it doesn't even have to be the Decimator. Maybe there's some other wonder weapon that can unlock the pages of the book for us to obtain. And then, whatever. I don't know. It's kind of weird too, because they also mentioned at the beginning of the game when you load into Terra Maledicta, that's a little bit inconsistent, but they mentioned, oh, you guys escaped Stalingrad. Wow, that's amazing. It's like, we did?
How?
It's like we did. How do we do that? There's no Easter egg. How do we do that? So
how do we do that?
It's a little bit inconsistent.
I wonder. Originally they planned to have an Easter egg for Der Anfang to come out before.
Oh, they absolutely did, because that's what they said.
Oh yeah. But I mean that's funny that they kept then like some of the, like you're saying, it's a little bit inconsistent with like some of the quotes and that, expecting that we've done something back in the original map.
Yeah. No, it's weird. It's really weird. I just hope that when Der Anfang eventually does get the Easter egg, I hope they add like a part 1 and a part 2, where like part 1 is what we should have had before, and then part 2 it's like, aha, an extra Easter egg. If you've completed the Terra Maledicta Easter egg, then you have this extra area unlocked where you can do X, Y, Z. Da, 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 da. So I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. But at the same time, you kind of go, okay. Huh. But also the playable area in the Dark Aether for Terra Maledicta is beautiful. It's a
Good,
really well crafted area. It's what's behind us right now, actually.
Oh,
The Dark
yes.
Aether area is really fun to play in, and that is the Void, like I predicted. That is the round based area for Terra Maledicta, which is spot on. Good on you guys. It's a good area to play in. And then, funny enough, you can fall off the Dark Aether, and you don't die.
You just red screen, don't you? You go to like 1 health, is it?
Yeah, you basically get down to 10% HP, and
Okay, yeah.
the whole thing behind it is the reason why you don't die is because Verkana swoops up and picks you up and like saves you. So it's like you get quotes from the Dark Aether entities being like, "Oh, don't make me save you again." You know, and like little character moments like that, which is kind of fun. But you also lose all of your armor too, so you really don't want to fall off.
Yeah, I can imagine that being quite annoying.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
But no, from what I've seen, the area does look quite nice, and I hope as we go on, we get more like Dark Aether like areas. If they're going to stick with this game mode, or hopefully maybe just a Dark Aether map. Maybe they release one map for the game and it's a full like Dark Aether.
Yeah,
like you're going into it. I would really like that because they could do so much with it.
that would be great. I think honestly they could have kind of backtracking to Cold War. I think they could have released a Dark Aether version of Die Machina in a way, where you just have that to play constantly instead of having to go into the portal and then it teleports you back out after a little while, and just Dark Aether version of that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, because in a way it's not like a texture pack or something, isn't it? Where it's the same thing, slightly different.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's differences in that, but it's just it looking different kind of gives it a different vibe and makes it a little bit more replayable, I guess you could say.
Oh, for sure. For sure, it makes it more replayable because if you're in the Dark Aether, you could also add like Dark Aether specific side Easter eggs, Dark Aether specific whatever. Because already on Die Machina, you have the anomalies that you can listen to for story, and things like that. So you can add extra little Dark Aether Easter eggs too. Will they do that for Vanguard? I don't really know, because really the only thing that you can do in the Dark Aether in Terra Maledicta is do the Void, which is round based, and there's a couple of speaking stones that you can interact with and listen to the lore a little bit more. And that's really about it. So it would be cool to have more for the Dark Aether. But yeah, man, it's an interesting time right now. It's an interesting time right now for Call of Duty. We have Cold War content being very speculative, and things are kind of confusing there. People are sinking their teeth into Terra Maledicta and really going, this is interesting. It's kind of good, but at the same time, it's kind of weird. Like, it's kind of a weird time for zombies, and it's kind of a weird time for Call of Duty in general. Especially with ranked play that just came out for Vanguard, and that's kind of hit or miss for a lot of people, honestly. I'm having fun with it right now, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. But we'll vibe with it. We'll vibe with it for a little while.
Things will get better.
Things will get better. I genuinely hope that Treyarch's next game, Black Ops Cold War 2 or whatever the sequel is gonna really pick things up again for zombies. Because Cold War, I think Cold War ended on such a high note. Like, Cold War really ended with an exclamation mark. Like, hey guys, Halloween event. New weapons. Mason is the operator. New game modes. Fun maps. The Dark Aether storyline. Richtofen is back. Like, that is a huge exclamation mark for the end of Cold War. And then it's like, oh shit, what happened in Vanguard? I mean, we all know what happened, but
I think in a lot of ways with Cold War, it's the Dark Aether's version of World at War, where they're building from the ground up from what they kind of know. But
I can understand that.
Obviously, it's with like a different take in that, and again, it ended off on such a high note for what is yet to come. And it's just good. Honestly, I'm glad that it ended really well. And through the seasons, it was really consistent. I know there's definitely lower points. Some people lost interest in some parts. But
I would say around like season 3, people were kind of like, I feel like season 2, season 3 was kind of a low point for Black Ops Cold War. But even that in itself wasn't like a super low point, right? Because I think that's when Outbreak came out, season 2. Which, by the way, Outbreak is going to be a year old in like a day or two. Which is really crazy to think about.
I think the best time for Cold War was Firebase Z coming out,
Oh,
all the new
really?
tiers. I think, yeah, because you had that. You had all the new tiers coming out as well. I don't know if that did that come alongside Outbreak. I think it did it?
Well, the new upgrade tiers were
Or was that in the middle
yeah,
of that in
actually,
an
I think that
Outbreak?
was Outbreak.
Because a lot happened in terms of content. I know, no, it wasn't exactly a map release thing, but I
When
think that
was
was my
that?
favorite.
Yeah, I
Was
think
it
that
in
was
between
Outbreak.
Outbreak? It must be.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe it was like either at Outbreak's launch or like right after
Yeah, I
Outbreak.
think it was because it was the what was faster to get crystals,
Oh,
survival or
right.
Outbreak. I remember it now. Yep. But no, for me personally, that was I think my favorite time, just because there's so much stuff to grind, and it
Mm-hmm.
was worthwhile stuff as well. And getting all the new perks in that, and all the new abilities, and all the new ammo mod abilities. It was
Yeah,
good. It was a good time. It was where like I can invest so much time into the game and get rewarded for it. I really hope
definitely.
that in their next game they have a lot of that stuff in where there's a lot of stuff to be unlocked that changes in-game stuff. So
Yeah, dude. I want the Cold War Ethereum crystal system back in the next Treyarch game. I really liked that system, upgrading your stuff, and that was really cool. I think for me personally, my favorite time for Black Ops Cold War was Season 4 and beyond. Like,
you
the start
think,
of Season 4, like, don't get me wrong, Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, fun seasons, great, awesome content. But, like, really
yeah,
the start of Season 4 was like, oh, we're going to pick
ooh,
up now. Mauer Toten, other little additions. Onslaught started to get updates. Outbreak started to get some interesting new side quests. And then Season 5 happened. Okay, even more updates. And, like, it just really just crammed so much into it that really made it super enjoyable. That with Season 4, 5, and 6, they really introduced some really unique things. Because Season 4, Mauer Toten, Mule Kick. Season 5, Death Perception. Season 6, PhD Slider. And then you also had different Outbreak regions. You had different operators. It was like just this really just great time, in my opinion.
yeah.
This is really, really great time. Season 4, 5, 6 was like the peak of Cold War, in my opinion. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think that was definitely a good time as well for the game in terms of like actually getting like content out. And yeah, a Cold War looking back at it, and again during it, I think we were both very understanding. The game was really good, and for the content we were getting,
yeah.
I know there was definitely some hate on that towards the game feeling really like underwhelming, but I remember it fondly, and I have at least one good memory on each map. And
Same.
yeah, so Cold War is an absolute win, and I hope that their next game is just better than it. If I'm being honest, if they can reach that point again and go beyond that,
Yep.
then I see the zombie community being in a really good place in a couple of years.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree, man. If they can pick up right where they left off with Cold War, that'd be great. That would be great for the next game. That would be superb. But right now, we just got to see where Vanguard goes, because Vanguard's not
Absolutely.
over. I think, it might be the overly optimistic person in me going, you know what? It could get better. Maybe Vanguard could potentially get better. And maybe they can add this crazy map that is an objective-based map that really, crosses their T's and dots their I's and really is a polished experience that makes me want to do the objectives, that makes me want to be invested in the map. Like, I don't know. Maybe there could be a good objective-based map. Terra Maledicta, step in the right direction. Is it the answer? Not really. It's not really the answer right now, but I think they can build off of this. And I think they can really make a good experience. So I'm really, really hoping that whatever the next map is going to be after this really improves. And I think it can. And I really hope it does. So I'm not going to completely write off Vanguard like a lot of other people have already, because I want to give things a fair shake. I want to give things a fair chance instead of me just going, I played it twice, I hate it. Now I want to sit down. I want to sit down and really, really get into it and really try to understand what can be improved, what can be changed, because we're in such an interesting point in the zombies community that this is the most experimental Treyarch has ever been with anything zombies. So if there's anything that I can do to really understand the game mode and to give actual constructive criticism instead of saying, wow, this is bad, without backing it up, I will. Because right now I can say, oh, this isn't good because this. Right now I can say this is not good because this. And I just want to improve that opinion more. I just want to really make that more concrete.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, again, with Vanguard, it's something where it can get better, but then we've seen stuff in the past before where games haven't really improved. I'm not saying Vanguard wouldn't. I think it still definitely has potential to get better, and I think we'll look back at it on it as like not a great game, but we'll appreciate it for what it did. Hopefully, in terms of story and maybe adding in a few things that we weren't really expecting from it.
For sure. It's like I was saying before, man. Vanguard might not have a lot going for it right now, but the one thing that it does have going for it is lore building and world building. And that's going to be such an interesting part and part of what's been keeping me along for the ride for Vanguard. Now, with how Terra Maledicta has been playing out, now I'm a little bit more interested to see, okay, now how can they improve the gameplay after they've already taken a step up from Anfang to Terra Maledicta. So now I'm a little bit more interested to see what they're going to do with what they've improved upon. So, yeah, that's what's going on right now. But anyways, I think we're dwindling down here for this episode of the podcast. What do you have to say, man? What do you think? Any kind of closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to say about Vanguard, Cold War Year 2? We talked about a lot of stuff today, actually. More stuff than I thought we would. But what do you have to say about everything going on?
I hope Cold War Season 2 is something that isn't lackluster if they choose to do it. Obviously, they are doing it with new multiplayer maps we see, which are, most likely coming to the game. I hope Zombies gets a fair share of that love with a Year 2. And yeah, with Vanguard, the new map, it seems all right. Again, it still is that objective-based game mode, so I think no matter how good it is, it will always kind of die off in a week. But I think things can always get better. So I'm looking forward to the next step that Vanguard takes and seeing how they try and do the next map if they choose to do another one.
Definitely, man. I would agree there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps it up here for episode 81 of the Division Z podcast. What was your favorite part? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments about Terra Maledicta and what's going on in the Call of Duty community. Are you guys enjoying ranked play? Things like that. And feel free to share it in the comments. There is still some exciting things going on with Call of Duty, even though you might see a lot of negativity going on. There's still some stuff to enjoy. But yeah, I guess with that said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy and you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe to the Division Z YouTube channel, and check out all of our links down below in the description so you stay up to date with everything that we do. And with that said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, depending on where you are in this crazy world. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye, everyone.